Hey, what's going on, family? We are in this thing. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're live. You're live. And I'm connected with five. Thank you. What's up? My girl Danielle said she got the notification. That's good. That's good that I finally got to see you. Let's talk. Hope you're doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into this thing. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. Look, for all my family, too, that is here in the area, y'all know, actually, tomorrow, with the busy campaign, and we got a debate forum at Franklin Baptist Church right here in Northeast. So this is for the race for council person of District E. That District E includes Lower Ninth Ward and Northeast Investment State up the time. I am. We need serious help, absolutely. Thank you, Danielle. I appreciate it, and I'm running as an independent, so that makes it even harder. But you're not part of the two-party dictatorship, as Jesse Ventura would say, guerrilla. But I'm trying to make a difference in the area. That's why I'm running. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's go ahead and get into it, ladies and gentlemen. Without wasting everybody's time. Hope y'all are doing good this Sunday. There's just been a lot of craziness, especially in the sports world. Of course, we're going to be talking about Deion Sanders and his sons, Shedeur and Shiloh, and what they have been going through, what happened recently. I don't know if anybody saw this. Of course, we're going to talk about that. There appears, of course, to be some type of. Someone said I'm breaking up a lot. All right, let me make sure the music. I got to turn the music down. Or I'll turn it on. I'll just turn it off so y'all can hear me. All right. How's that? Is there any interference? Let me know if it's better. Please just give me a comment, say yes or thumbs up in the chat. Shout out to all my people on X that are watching me on Rumble and other places. So I was saying a lot of crazy stuff has been going on. Even when I woke up this morning and I saw Deion Sanders Gilgamesh. Okay. We'll get to it in a second. We're going to talk about it in a second. I saw quitting Rampage, so we're going to be talking about Deion Sanders. His son had a bad day at the office, both of them, actually. Now, Shiloh, Gilgamesh mentioned Shiloh Sanders and Shedeur. Well, hold on a minute. Now, yeah, Shiloh hasn't made a lot of noise. Shiloh was a free agent. He didn't get drafted by anybody. He got picked up by Tampa. Free agent, undrafted free agent. Of course, that's when you don't go anywhere in the draft. You're not picked by anybody on the board. So they went off and just picked him up. Shiloh, I knew was going to struggle being a cornerback because I don't think Shiloh, if I'm not mistaken, not the best ever. But here's the thing, though. What happened yesterday, whether you think he's trash or not, it's an issue. We're talking about what happened. I'm going to be talking about what happened with that play yesterday because you're not going to tell me that Shilo Sanders, that play wasn't the icing on the cake that got him cut from the team. So let's look at it. I'm going to give you my opinion about what happened. And then what you got to also explain about his brother. Now, Shiloh is not that tall. Shiloh is 6 foot. So if you're going up against the average NFL wide receiver is about 6'3". So you have a 6 foot cornerback going up against a 6'3" wide receiver, say for instance, it's going to be bad. What's going on, Bookie? We're not talking about the fact he got cooked. So you don't think so I'm gonna get here. Someone said my mic is choppy. I can't hear it. So I'm only looking through. So when I'm talking to y'all, I can see obviously through my face that my mic is working. I'm just looking here. I could just see how the circle is going up and down. That just indicates that y'all could hear me talk, but I don't know how it sounds on the podcast or if you're listening through it. But I want to show the play. Let's get to it. What's going on, Bookie the Realist? So yesterday, this is what happened against the Buffalo Bills at home at Tampa. There was a play. Shiloh was on the field on this play. So the tight end for the Buffalo Bills not late. He's saying, "You Gilgamesh, you sound like you're trolling the man a little bit." So let me get this straight. You don't think that this white boy, Davidson, this is the tight end. This is the play. So I'm sorry, I said Shedeur. Shiloh. Now the play is already over up front. I believe this is a run play, and this guy is blocking. So you could clearly tell this was an exaggeration by the tight end. So he's pushing on Shiloh. Fair use, by the way. I don't want NFL to get a copyright strike. So y'all can see this. Now I'm giving commentary, but you see
tight end Zach Davidson.
So Davidson
swinging
at him first. Now you can't see it from this angle, but there was another camera angle, and you can clearly see. This is tight end Zach Davidson, and you could clearly see. So the play actually is already over with. You see that NFL play? They stopped. This was a run play. The play is over with.
Sanders. Right there.
So they both swing on each other.
The shove back.
And before that, Davidson clearly is grabbing, and you can see it. He is clearly grabbing Shiloh's face mask. To which Shiloh swings back. The umpire back here, the back judge, then decides to throw the flag.
Sanders,
who got ejected from the game. Shiloh is only 6 feet tall, and this is a tight end who say Davidson is 6'7". Well, Shiloh's 6 feet. From looking at it, it doesn't look like 6'7". But yeah, he could clearly see he's the bigger man. But Davidson didn't get punished. They punished Shiloh. And there are people, of course, commenting on it. Somebody wrote, "I like Deion, I really do. Shedeur isn't a bad guy, and I wish the best for him. Shiloh is a brother that gives everyone else a bad rap. It's sad, but I'm sure he feels like he's the overlooked one. I hope he finds peace in himself." Somebody wrote, "Well, that punch was deserved." So this is courtesy of Evan Klosky, who had this. And someone wrote, "They are targeting Deion Sanders' children, Coach Prime. And at this point, it's getting beyond obvious." It's incredible how people will blatantly watch a dude get mocked and literally will only speak about the person getting ejected. How the F is anything that tight end did redeemable? Yeah, the tight end was not punished for this. I don't believe did they even give him a flag for unnecessary roughness. This guy named Gunn said, "Why is no one showing this angle of Shiloh Sanders? Play was already whistle done. Player stopped. Zach Davidson grabbed Sanders' face mask after the whistle. Easily could have been a penalty on the ref." or the ref stepping in. Shiloh can't throw, punch, obviously stop overreacting. Right, he just slapped his helmet. Shiloh was the third string safety. Right. Got to know that the retaliation always gets caught and the instigator doesn't, and that people only remember you for the last thing you did. Right. The instigator never gets punished. It's always the person who reacts that the referees just so happen to catch. You could do anything. You could even spit on somebody. Unless the referee is standing right there and sees it, they don't call that. They call it on the guy who retaliates. Now, I remember the NFL years ago. I believe it was the Tennessee Titans and the Houston Texans. I think Andrew Johnson and this cornerback from the Titans, and I can't think of his name, they got into a fist fight. Both of them got ejected. That's probably the last time I remember both two players getting ejected. I definitely remember when Kyle Turley, who was an offensive lineman for the Saints, got ejected for throwing the helmet of the New York Jets player in the air because New York Jet, when Aaron Brooks was running for a first down, the Jets safe linebacker, I don't know his name, grabbed Aaron Brooks' face mask. And Turley came to Aaron Brooks' aid and he threw the helmet in the air. And I remember, let's see if I got that. This is it here. Yeah. He got mad. He threw the helmet in the air. I just think, yeah, that was one of those things I just think to remember. And Turley, I think he only played one more year, and then he that was the end of his career. But yeah, that's something. But nevertheless, yeah, I remember that incident. But yeah, he got thrown out of the game with 1 minute left. But Shiloh, yeah, just got his walking papers. He was cut from the team, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the coach for the Buccaneers, Bowles, was talking about what happened. And I have that here. Because Todd Bowles was actually, I said Bowles, but it seemed like Bowles said you can't throw punches in this league. Now it's inexcusable. So listen carefully to what he said. So he kept it brief. He just said, so y'all know what they were doing though. This was probably the excuse that they needed. I think this is the excuse that they needed to get rid of Shiloh. Now Shiloh, I don't know if I don't think of Shiloh's. Nothing stands out to me about Shiloh when he played for his dad at Colorado with his brother. he had some standout moments. I remember he returned, I think, he returned a couple of interceptions for a touchdown. He was pretty good, but don't remember or recall something great stand out. But y'all notice the pattern, ladies and gentlemen. Remember LeVar Ball and his three sons, all in the NBA, all successful. You know, there's a distinct pattern. There's a distinct pattern with black men, black fathers who have sons in NFL, NBA that they don't like. Yeah, that you said that he was going to get cut anyway. This was just the cattle. This was just the excuse they needed to make him get cut, man. Y'all don't think that had nothing? You honestly don't think this incident had something to do with it? That he get cut? How many people getting cut the very next day after an incident? Doesn't happen often. But that's Shiloh. Then you factor in what happened to his brother. Let's talk about what happened with Shedeur. Now I notice you have a Cleveland Browns picture as your avatar, Sell More. So I'm sure given that you're a Cleveland Browns fan, you were watching the game yesterday when the Browns played the Rams, and they took Shedeur they didn't let Shedeur play in the 2-minute drive. Now, Shedeur didn't have a great game, honestly. 3 of 6 for 14 passing yards. He was sacked 5 times for a negative 41 yards. But at the time Shedeur is playing, y'all got to realize this too. Many people may or may not know this, but they didn't have the first string that was in there. They had third string players that were in. And so he was sacked 5 times, even to the point where Oak and Ocho were talking about it because they blame the Browns, especially Stefanski, who's the coach of the Browns, for sabotaging the quarterback situation. He's been criticized by different analysts as a result of what happened yesterday, how he's handled the situation. So let me just play a little clip.
Let's give him a chance. Let's give him a chance with the play calling. You know you have an offensive line that isn't playing that well. So what do? Why not just play the short game so he can get the ball out of his hands very fast to run a competent goddamn offense? Outside of that, Shedeur has to be better in understanding that the offensive line that you're working with right now is not adequate. Why not allow the players that are competing for a job, in this instance, Shedeur Sanders, to finish off the 2-minute drill? Who makes that call? He makes that call. Why? Because I want the last thing people to see is the mistakes and the sacks that happen and not give him a chance to redeem himself. Because I think probably what would have happened, okay, we can't have Shedeur come in here and finish this 2-minute drive and go down and get a touchdown. We don't want that. And in chat, for those of you who are listening and watching, I'm not making an excuse for him. He played bad. But I can tell you why he played bad. I mean, if you know the game of football and understand the game of football, understand that those that are in there with him during that time, I'm not going to be on the team. Go ahead, man.
We tell it like it is. Shedeur did not play well today. He played awful. Everything that you said is true. Shedeur, you know this offensive line is not competent enough to give you protection.
No, that offensive line was garbage. That offensive line for Cleveland is garbage, yeah. Well, they've already... Well, the Browns just announced that they were actually releasing Tyler Huntley. And they've got Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, and Shedeur for the 2025 season. If they well, of course they're not gonna release him now, especially after his brother got released. Because if it looked like he gets cut along with his brother, then it's really gonna look like they sabotaged him. You don't think? Y'all don't think if they cut Shedeur right now, after his brother got cut, how that would have looked? Put the music back on. Said no dad. Mike says Shiloh couldn't even had a chance to play in the period. Undisciplined. Shedeur holds the ball too long, never broke the habit. Experts suck if couldn't see it. ESPN, no daddy ball in NFL. How you felt about Chris Sims? You say no daddy ball. Chris Sims was Phil Sims' son, playing for the Buccaneers. He sucked. A bunch of former players' sons have been in the NFL. Brian Greasy with Denver. Bob Greasy's son. What makes you say he can't play in the NFL? The man just started. The kid, I've never seen. So this is proving my point. Y'all, this man has just started to play in the NFL. Fucking sorry ass Tim Tebow. Tebow, everybody knew when he was in college football. Yeah, you could do certain things in college football that you couldn't do in the NFL that he got away with. And Tim Tebow played in an AFC divisional playoff. There's a lot of people who you say who aren't great quarterbacks that play in the NFL. I'll give you one right now. I'm in New Orleans. Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill is not a great quarterback. He's a great player because they use Taysom as a switchblade. He's like a Swiss Army knife. He doesn't just catch the ball. He runs the ball. He can break tackles. He's fast. They've put him at tight end. They've put him at wide receiver. Right. The preseason the preseason used to be 4 games. It's now 3. With a 2-minute drill, just think about it. Yeah, he played bad this last game, but the first game he was in, he threw 2 touchdowns. He came off the bench. And there were people criticizing that. Yeah. Terrell Pryor was I remember Terrell Pryor with the Raiders. There's a lot of people who get drafted. There's a lot of people who get drafted that may last 1 year in the NFL or 2 years. It's not easy staying in the NFL is not a gimme. Just like the NBA, the average career span for an NBA player, I believe back in the 90s, it might even be shorter now, was like 4 years. Now, Terrell Pryor played for the Raiders at one point, if I remember correctly. With Ohio State, he got drafted by the Raiders first. And he had that punt return for like a touchdown. I remember that. No, he had 13 carries for 112 yards in one game against the Colts. It was either a punt return or something he did. So it's clear that they're trying to they're trying to prevent this man from having a successful career. And that goes back to the days of Jack Johnson. You know, when you were a confident black man, see, all of this is about, really, ladies and gentlemen, is how the NFL hated Deion Sanders. Now, I remember Deion Sanders as a kid. Deion was not just arguably the greatest cornerback to play the game, although he wasn't a great tackler. I would say of course, there have been great cornerbacks, but if you had a Mount Rushmore of cornerbacks, I would put Charles Woodson. This is not in 1 through 4 order, by the way. This is just in general. Charles Woodson, Darryl Green, Deion Sanders, and I would put probably, and I didn't see him play, but by all accounts, Mel Blount for the Steelers. And if I had to throw in there, I think from the Raiders, they had it's from the Raiders. Who was the guy? Willie Brown. He might be one. I already know. I'm 3 steps ahead of you about Quentin Rampage's son. We're gonna talk about that in a minute. Yeah, everybody's son's getting attacked now. Some of it may very well be. Quentin Rampage's son might be a little bit different. I don't know all the facts of the case, but I saw the video of him getting into it with that wrestler. Yeah, he knocked the dude out. But there was an incident that they say happened prior to that, which is probably the reason why that happened. I don't know all, but I'll show that in a minute. But y'all can't tell me that Deion Sanders, because Deion Sanders, and I'm talking about Jack Johnson, anytime a black man is confident in his game and is doing great things with his confidence game, and he can back it up, which is what Jack Johnson did, because Jack Johnson, who was the first black heavyweight champion of the world, he used to brag about the fights he had. And this is during the fight. He would be even looking at the other fighters' wives saying, "How you doing, Miss Sullivan?" Smiling at him, taunting his opponents, saying, "Hit me here." That's why when Joe Louis came along, Joe Louis had to be the opposite. This is Jack Johnson. Joe Louis was given a manual of what to do and what not to do. You can't gloat over your opponents. You had to be humble. You had to do. That's what they want black men to do. That's what they want Deion Sanders people to do. You better humble yourself. You got to do such and such. Y'all think they had that conversation with Tom Brady? They told Joe Louis you couldn't be photographed with white women. And most importantly, they told Joe Louis you can't smile. You see Jack Johnson? Jack Johnson is smiling. Every picture, film that they took of Jack Johnson, he was smiling. He didn't care. They passed the law, of course, to go after Jack Johnson, that man act. If I be up on it, drop something in the Cash App. Y'all love me for my time, pay me for my time. Yeah, Joe Louis could not be to get a heavyweight title. So he lost the title in 1970, I think in 1915. So he held it in 1909, lost it in 1915, and it wouldn't be until 1936 when Joe Louis was allowed to get back that title. And Muhammad Ali often saw a lot of himself in Jack Johnson and the Jack Johnson story. He would say that. That's Jack Johnson's statue in Galveston, the Galveston Giant. I would talk about Ali, and Ali, who was the 3-time heavyweight champion, the first man to ever win the heavyweight title, the lineal heavyweight championship 3 times. And he was considered braggadocious. He had a mouth they wanted to shut. His nickname was the Louisville Lip. And y'all know, as he was called the Louisville Lip, he was one of the most hated people in the world. He was often, he was one of the most hated people in the world. You know, Nick Wright, who's on Fox Sports, he said the same thing I've always said, that they loved Muhammad Ali when Muhammad Ali couldn't speak anymore. When he got Parkinson's is when they started to do the Ali tributes. That's a fast way to, you answered your question. It's a fast way to make money. Fast money always goes quick. Goes. Anybody that makes fast money, it also goes quick. Money, you get money and then you lose it. That's why people go to be athletes and get out of the projects, to get out of the ghetto. We look up to a lot of entertainers because they are always the ones that are driving the best cars. They have the best houses. They get the best women. That's exactly why. But Ali was considered braggadocious. And when you tie it in, so look at Deion Sanders. So y'all know Deion Sanders, of course, played. Ali would knock you out in the round. If he would predict the round, he would knock you out in. That's how confident he was. When he knocked out Sonny Liston, he said he was going to knock him out in 7 rounds, and Sonny Liston didn't come out until 7th. He told Larry Merchant when he fought George Foreman in the Rumble in the Jungle that if Foreman's parachute doesn't open in round 5, he said, in 8 rounds, he's mine. And that was the case. So Ali, and tying it into brother Deion. And I remember Deion as a kid when he played dual sports. There's always been animosity with Deion Sanders in the press. Now, back in the 90s, Deion Sanders played baseball and he played football. And one time he actually played 2 games. I believe he played in 2 different games. Three different games that night. Is it 2 or 3? It was more than at least 3 games. I believe it was 3 because it was a World Series. I think he played in a World Series, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody can correct me. And even Spike Lee had issues with. I distinctly remember Spike Lee having his issues with Deion Sanders. So let me see if I can see the. Hold on. They got music in this, but yeah. Deion Sanders was the man back in the 90s. I can't lie. And I didn't like Deion because Deion played for the Falcons. You know, the Falcons were the Saints' biggest rivalry. And Deion was very flashy. He was very confident. But, God, that man could back up his shit. That man could play. That man, he was braggadocious. He was an arrogant mofo, but he could back it up. He was the guy you hated, but you couldn't hate on him because you respected him. He was loved and hated.
Undercover, what's his name? An Atlanta Falcons.
Deion Sanders.
Deion, he should be shot. That guy, he's gonna get a knee injury, another 2 years, 20 pounds of gold around his neck. Jericho, he's gonna be a bum on the street.
So 4 years later, on Deion Sanders' debut album, he called him out.
Despite kissing the prime was ridiculous. But when you haven't met me, but now you on the TV screen trying to check me. You try to make me look low, claiming pro-black, this not black man on a white man show. I see your true color. I know what you's about, nigga. You ain't pro-black.
But Deion Sanders wasn't done. In October 1992, Deion Sanders played 3 professional games in 24 hours. A baseball game in Pittsburgh, a football game in Miami, followed by a baseball game that same night. And instead of it being a crazy feat, Deion Sanders was ridiculed for it. And it was led by Tim McCarver, who said that Deion Sanders was incredibly selfish.
Right. So Tim McCarver was this reporter, fair use. They got the music in it. I don't want to get dinged, but Tim McCarver, who's dead, he was a reporter. He was a baseball commentator. And he played 21 years in the MLB. Right. He was on Fox Sports. I don't watch baseball. Baseball's boring. And so he criticized him for playing 2 sports on the same day. And Sanders, you're going to see this follow-up, Deion confronted him after the game. So watch
for snaking his teammates.
The next victim, Tiny Tim McCarver. The jealous buck at the audacity to
Pull up.
Silly come. What they all say.
I want Prime hit me with a copyright.
Your responsibility.
From this is that you don't mess with Deion Sanders.
When your mama call you and tell you how upset she was that this man is talking about you like a dog, where I'm from, you handle it. Where is he at? Where's my car? Where's my car? Right here. Right now. I got some real man. You know that? You are a real man, Deion. I'll say this. I am, because I did it in your face. I didn't do it behind your back. I came straight to the horse and fed it.
That's actually a battery, but no charges were filed. El Hombre Negro says Deion Sanders didn't even play in the baseball game. This was on the team and a dugout. I thought he actually played. If I'm not mistaken. I thought he actually played in those games. When they played the Blue Jays. Yeah, Deion played in those games. He had He had 4 runs, 8 hits, 2 doubles, and 1 RBI while playing with a broken bone in his foot. Based off what I'm reading here from they're in the 1992 season. Yeah, in the World Series. Yeah, I'm reading this. He played for football too. Yeah, you talking about Tyler Shuff is the Saints quarterback, right? No, he played for the Falcons and he flew from the Falcons game. They played Miami that day, and then he flew back to Atlanta, I think, because he was playing for the Falcons at the time. So he played for the Braves as well. That's out in Atlanta. And if you recall, Deion actually ended up hold on. Yeah. And they criticized that. So the point in tying all of this in, mainstream media has always had a problem with black men who have a voice and who are confident in their game. And Deion Sanders was such a person and still is. And he is doing great things. I got to applaud the man with his sons, with that team out in, not only with his sons, but also the team out in Colorado. He's employed former NFL players. Look at Warren Sapp. He's actually the defensive coordinator for the team. Or is he a defensive line coach? He's brought a lot of people on. He changed the situation out at Jackson State. I wish he could have stayed a little bit longer with the HBCU, but he saw it as an opportunity to jump, and he took it. And remember, Colorado was 1-11 when he went to that team in 2023. They ended up finishing with a 4-8 record. And then in 2024, they go 9-3. So he's really transferred things. Their enrollment even doubled at Colorado, something that hadn't happened in almost 20 years. They've actually made a lot of money in jersey sales, in ticket sales. Right. Well, Bella, remember Tiger Woods' dad, Eldrick Woods. He was another example. He brought his son into a sport, a predominantly white sport, and made him the greatest golfer of all time. Even if Tiger don't see himself as black. Yeah, they complain about black men not having fathers, but hate it when we actually do. And those black fathers look out for them. But that happened with Shedeur, and now I'm looking at, and I'm going to get to Rampage in a minute. Quitting Rampage Jackson. So yeah, that I digress. Yeah. So what happened? Because Spirit mentioned this, and I said I was 3 steps ahead of you. I mentioned this earlier. So there was a video that's going around when Quitting Rampage Jackson's son. His son is actually named Raja Jackson. There's an incident that happened in a wrestling ring. I don't want to play. The video is pretty graphic, so I don't want to get a strike for playing violent contact. But he goes into the ring, this wrestler. And oh, geez. This is the name of the wrestler. But moments before the incident, so he beat the crap out of this guy. And y'all saw what happened. I didn't know that the video was going to play. This is Psycho Stu at Knox Pro Knox Experience event on Saturday in Sun Valley that was streamed on Kick. And Jackson apparently threw the man to the on the mat hard, knocked him out, and threw about 20 punches, which I'm looking at the ref standing there, and the ref was just standing there while he's throwing punches and didn't bother to get him off until another wrestler came. But before the match, it appears there was this incident that occurred. So Psycho Stu's name is Stuart Smith. And I'm going to play the video. I don't want to play the wrestling video, but this is what happened earlier. So apparently this wrestler hits Raja on the head with objects. So watch.
You don't know me?
Hell no.
Yeah.
Hey, I think that's what.
Hit him with a
Easy. He's not a fucking worker, bro. Calm down.
Yeah, what the fuck was that? What the fuck was that?
You don't sell it?
Dude, he's not a fucking worker, bro.
What the fuck was that? Hold on. I don't play that shit, bro.
Oh, sorry.
Nah, I will fuck him up, bro.
I know you will.
Nah.
We're good.
I will fuck him up, bro. I don't play that shit.
Sorry about that.
Nah, I will fuck him up,
I
bro.
know you will. I got you.
I did not play that shit at all.
Nah, I got you.
So this guy had to step in and say no, because Raja didn't like that. So this incident supposedly happened moments later. Stepped into the ring. But the referee didn't step in. So this is what they have here. Raja supposedly fleeing the scene.
Tired of motherfuckers playing with me, bro. Real shit. One of them was a bitch and fucking bit me. I'm tired of everybody fucking playing with me and shit. Think I'm always playing and shit. Call me bitch and shit. Not no fucking bitch, bro. At the end of the day, I'm gonna stand up for my fucking self because I'm tired of everybody fucking playing with me, bro. Real shit.
Come on, man. We leaving, man. We're walking away, bro. Let's not take it serious. Let's go. Come on, Roger. Let's go. Let's go, Roger. Let's go. Roger, let's go. Roger, I'm telling you, let's go. You listen to me. Listen to me, Roger. You need to listen to me right now, Roger. Let's go.
I don't give a fuck. You guys trying to jump me and shit?
Let's go.
You ain't gonna do shit to me, bro.
Let's go,
you can't do shit to me. You can't fuck with me, bro.
Let's go.
You can't fuck with me.
Come on, let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, you chopper. Tired of motherfuckers playing with me, bro.
Okay. So that happened. But Quentin Rampage made a statement.
This is what happened, Chad. He went to a pro wrestling event with his coach. Those pro wrestlers, they be just as crazy as MMA guys, right? The pro wrestling guy don't know my son, and he hit him over the head with like a can or a beer can or a bottle or something. And my son didn't know it didn't know it was coming. Didn't know. They didn't tell my son. And he hit my son over the head. I guess he thought my son was a pro wrestler or something. And Roger didn't react, but Roger didn't fight though. He didn't do anything because I told Roger not to get punched, but still nigga hit my son over the head. And then he asked my son, "You ain't gonna sell it when you in pro wrestling?" So this motherfucker that hit my son is stupid. So in order for me not to go to fucking jail, I gotta talk to his coach. This is what happened, Chad. He went to a pro wrestling event with his coach. Those pro wrestlers, they be just as crazy as MMA guys, right? The pro wrestling guy don't know my son, and he hit him over the head with like a He went to a pro wrestling event with his coach. Those pro wrestlers, they be just as crazy as MMA guys, right? The pro wrestling guy
Right. I want to know how he was able.
don't know my son, and he hit him over the head with like a can or a beer can or a bottle or something.
Why was he
And
allowed?
my son
How
didn't
you get
know
to
it.
step in the
He
ring?
didn't know it was coming. Didn't know. They didn't tell my son. And he hit my son over the head. I guess he thought my son was a pro wrestler or something. And Roger didn't react, but Roger didn't fight though. He didn't do anything. Cause I told Roger not to get punched, but still, nigga hit my son over the head. And then he asked my son, "You ain't gonna sell it when you in pro wrestling?" So this motherfucker that hit my son is stupid. So in order for me not to go to fucking jail, I got to talk to his coach. This is what happened, Chad. He went to a pro wrestling event with his.
So, in a statement that was released by the wrestling promotion on Sunday, Knox X Pro condemned Rogers' actions. They said, first and foremost, our thoughts and prayers are with our brother, Mr. Stuart Smith, Psycho Stu, as he remains a priority, and we are monitoring his well being. What was supposed to be a planned and agreed upon wrestling spot turned into a selfish, irresponsible act of violence against Mr. Smith. This egregious act is reprehensible and never should have occurred. In the 17 years of operation of Knox X Pro Wrestling Academy, there's never been anything as heinous as took place such as this, and we apologize to our patrons and fans. So I don't know obviously what it sounds like. He was there for a wrestling, obviously it was a wrestling event. He went up to the guys and it looked like it was and when I saw it, I thought, and I'm talking about the initial incident when he went up to the wrestler, the guy grabbed a beer can and smashed it on the kid's head. And probably they say and the guy said you didn't sell it. Probably what they thought was that, or the guy didn't know he was supposed to do that and wasn't a wrestler and took offense to it. Now can't read what's in Rampage son's head, Roger's head, but apparently it looks like he was still upset over it. And I'm hearing and reading that it happened again from what it looks like. But I mean, he knocked the guy out when he got in the ring. I don't think he was in on the act. So that guy looked like he picked on him earlier in the day, and Roger just got frustrated and took his frustrations out on the dude. I don't think he was in on that. Yeah. What they talk about selling and so forth, I don't think he knew that. But I'm just wondering why and everybody stepped in. They stepped in when it was too late. Maybe they thought it was going to be a work as well. They delivered they're saying it was scripted, or it was supposed to be a scripted work, and he actually knocked the guy out, did it on purpose. So he took offense to it. He said it wasn't a work. I haven't heard what he had to say. I've heard his father. I've read what the report was from Pro X Wrestling, what they had to say about it. So I wonder what he has to say. They say the guy is actually in the hospital. Yeah. You have someone untrained in the ring. Yeah, you have these athletes in there who are not part of wrestling and so forth. I remember Mike Tyson was in WWF, WWE, but I think Mike showed his punches with stuff. Remember he knocked out Shawn Michaels, although I don't think that was real. It looked like it because Shawn was laying out flat. It looked like he was messing with his gums. But Mike knew how to show it through a punch. Mike knew how to show his punches and really wanted to hurt somebody he could have. But yeah, if he really did, looks like all of that stuff was real. Yeah, he's in some trouble. Yeah, it looks like yeah, his son got banned on Kick. So Kick is a streaming service. Yeah, they banned him. But what they're saying here, I'm looking at this. Supposedly, they're trying to say he was given the green light to get payback. But still, that I don't know. That doesn't sound right. But Rampage, Quentin even said this statement that he had a concussion a few days earlier from a fight, and he shouldn't have been anywhere outside the. He shouldn't have been anywhere, especially in the ring, because they said, "I want to clear up the misinformation about my son Raja. I've been confirmed that the wrestler." He's talking about Psycho Stu is awake and stable. Raja was unexpectedly hit in the side of the head by him moments before Smith's match. He was told he could get his payback in the ring. I thought it was part of the show. It was bad judgment and a work that went wrong. Raja is an MMA fighter, not a pro wrestler, and had no business involved in an event like this. I do not condone my son's actions at all. He suffered a concussion from sparring only days ago and had no business doing anything remotely close to physical contact. As a father, I'm deeply concerned with his health and the well being of Mr. Smith. That being said, I'm very upset that any of this happened, but my main concern now is that Mr. Smith will make a speedy recovery. I apologize on his behalf and to Kick for the situation. Right. They saw he was. Yeah. Raja better, and this is all on camera too. Raja could very well better cross his fingers if he's not charged with anything, although They may try and say, well, it was in a ring when this happened. So usually, if it wasn't anything where he was obviously, if it's at a sporting event, someone gets punched or something like that, that's one thing. Because you can't obviously sue a fighter can't sue a fighter for getting knocked out in the ring. Obviously, there's a license for that. And with wrestling, of course, wrestlers' injuries happen, but at what point does it turn from something that's actually a work to something that is actually a crime and a crime or a serious injury? And that's what you had happen here. Yeah. Well, of course. And I think Mike knew that. They had Evander Holyfield at the WWF, but this was an MMA fighter. Yeah, this wasn't great. But even Ken Shamrock was a wrestler, remember? All right. So with that being said, we're gonna wrap this thing up, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. Please drop something in the Cash App, PayPal, or Zelle. I will see y'all in the next one. Subscribe to the Rumble, Random Topics. That's the channel on Rumble. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Ladies and gentlemen, be one, be safe, and be blessed. I'll holla. Peace. Whoever you are, wherever you are, hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today. But if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on through our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, gavin.grich1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is channel gboot2786. All right, I'll holla. Peace.